'81 I went to Beatle Fest. I did Stand By Me, and then, you know, I was just crying. I won the thing, and who comes up to me? But Harry Nilsson. Harry Nilsson comes up to me and says, "Kid, you sound just like my best friend John." He goes, "Unbelievable. I never heard anyone sound that much like John Lennon."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, Harry, thank you, so nice to meet you." And I'm like, I can't sing it anymore. It makes me so sad. It really." And he goes, "Kid, you got a future in this business. You have to honor John. That's what you should be doing. Honor John Lennon. That's your hero. Go out there and do it." And after that, after I got like the pat on the back from John Lennon's best friend and one of the biggest celebrities I've ever met during that time, I was like, "Oh wow, he believes in me." So I started singing and never stopped from that point.
Oh, very nice.
So
very nice.
Some great things, you know. Great.
And you were 18 then, or?
Yeah, I was 17. Yeah, my birthday's in October, so
that was like 81.
So that was 81 in August of 81.
August of 81.
Yeah.
So after that event, what did you take from that to yourself?
Yeah, I just the feeling of just how fortunate I was to have something like that happen, and people to believe in your performance and your show and your passion and love for John Lennon. So.
And now that you decided that you were going to do that to honor the man, obviously it lifted your spirits up.
Yeah.
You know, what did you do? I mean, how did you proceed after that?
Well,
after that experience you
well,
had?
after that point, you know, the bands were still going good. I was still a member of the band Feedback then. We were still writing. We were still doing, you know, a lot of Beatles and a lot of mixing our songs with Beatles songs, with Rolling Stones songs, with everybody who we dug. And then that faded out. That whole band faded out, and then when I graduated high school, I joined another band, and I was playing bars at the age of like 18. When the day after I graduated high school at Leo, I auditioned for this band called Axis, and they were playing the bar scene, you know, and I went in there and auditioned, and they were like, yeah, we want you. And I go, well, I'm 18. You know, they're like, oh, don't worry about it. So I was playing the clubs, and it was great because I'd get to the club, nobody asked me for my ID. I just said, I'm in the band, you know. So I was playing clubs at 18, 19 years old, you know.
And did you do that? How often did you do that a week?
Every weekend.
Oh, every weekend.
Every weekend with them, yeah. It's great.
Wow.
And it was the music of the 60s and some current stuff too. So it was kind of a well-rounded band, but I always kept the Beatles repertoire going. So.
How long did you last with that band?
That band was like 3 years, and then I started working at a formal wear, you know, at a formal wear in Evergreen Park, Boss Formal Wear. It's still there. Yeah.
Looking dapper.
Yeah, but after that, I started going into the corporate world, looking for jobs, and I was working in Itasca as a headhunter. And then one day I was listening to a radio show, the Jonathan Brandmeier radio show on WLUP. I don't know if you're familiar with the Loop. I had a good friend, Greg Dasher, who was living out in LA. So I thought, you know what? There's nothing tying me down here in Chicago. I think I'm just going to kind of get up and go and move to LA and try to get something in the music business.
Now, how old were you? Like 21?
Let's see, that was 1986, you know, right after the Bears Super Bowl thing. So, yeah, I was like 22,
yeah.
22, and getting set to move, and all of a sudden, it's like last few weeks at this headhunter job. I'm driving, and Johnny Brandmeier is saying, hey, we need somebody's house to do we want to one of our morning shows from somebody's house.
Oh, I remember when he did that.
Yeah, and he goes, let's do that, have a big hootenanny or something. So I was like, okay, I got to work, and I'm like, hey, Johnny, I got a big basement at our house. My mom is Italian. She'd make this big breakfast, and I go, and my dad hates rock and roll, so we could sing some songs and just rock out the place. and Johnny goes, oh yeah, well, why? Are you a singer? Are you not? I go, yeah, John, I sing. I go, I used to be in a few bands, but now I'm kind of not doing much of anything. He goes, well, sing us a song. And I'm like, oh, John, I'm in an office building. I can't. I'll interrupt anybody. And of course, Johnny is going to get you to sing, if you know his personality and his so I'm like, he's like, come on, sing something. I go, okay, sing mostly Beatles songs. He goes, well, sing one. I go, well, name one. He goes, Spoil the Party.
Now, were you live?
Yeah, I was live on
the air?
Live on the air.
On the phone?
I'm on the telephone.
Okay.
And so he's like, spoil the party. I'm like, okay, son. I don't want to spoil the party, so I'll go. I will take my disappointment to show. He's like, oh my God, sounds like John Lennon. You sound like John Lennon. I can't believe. Hold on, do that again. So I did it again.
Yeah.
Then he got the record. He's like, oh my God, we gotta find you a Paul. We gotta find.
He's gonna find you a Paul.
Yeah. He goes, we gotta find you a Paul. So he opens up the lines. Paul McCartney. Everybody's, oh, this is Paul. Everybody's calling up, trying to sing, and so he took my number down. He calls me at the end of the day. He goes, you know what? I tried to find a Paul. I couldn't find anybody that could really sing. And he goes, but I want you to come here on Friday morning here at the Hancock and here at the Loop Studios and be on the show. And I'm like, well, John, there's this one guy I know. I don't know if he's really Paul, but we harmonize together. He's got a great voice. His name is Phil Angadi. And I go, we could, I could ask him. He goes, you know what? See if he'll come in and be here on Friday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I just called Phil, who was a good friend of mine, and he had his own bands. And I just said, hey, Phil, I was just on this radio show, Jonathan Brandmeier radio show on the Loop. I go, I did a little John Lennon. I go, he invited me on the show Friday. Are you doing anything Friday morning at 7 o'clock? Would you want to harmonize? We could do something together. And he goes, yeah, sure. Why not? So we get to the Hancock at 6:30 in the morning, and we rehearse Spoil the Party together. We're in the elevator.
Have you guys ever performed together before?
Well, yeah, we've sang before, Phil knows Beatles like I know Beatles.
So you guys kind of had a knack for each other.
Yeah, we kind of,
Okay.
yeah. He had his own band, I had my own bands, but we never played together.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
So yeah, so
this is the first time you guys are actually playing together.
Yeah,
Loop.
downtown at the Loop. I mean, we've John, like if I was at one of his shows, he'd see me in the audience, I'd come up and do a few songs with his band, and vice versa. When he was at mine, I'd call him up. And so it was kind of like that. So we're in the telephone booth at the Hancock, just practicing Spoil the Party. So figured we'd go on the radio, we'll do the song, and then.
Oh, just 1 second. For you kids out there that don't know what a telephone booth is, there's this square thing that's it's about 3 foot by 3 foot, and it had a phone. You had to put change in it to make a phone call. Anyway. We
went on the show, and we did Spoil the Party, and Johnny was like, oh my God, that was great. That was great. He goes, you know what we should do? Do you guys know more Beatles songs? And we're like, yeah, I know them. And I looked at Phil, and Phil goes,
I'm just curious, did they record that when you guys They recorded it when you were down at the Loop?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they recorded. It's May 17th, 1986. I mean, it's a day that changed my life. I mean, it was the day that got us on the radio, and that was the official start of the Beatle Brothers. The Beatle Brothers was the band that we were in, and Phil and I were a duo for all these years. We're still playing now, and it was 30-something years ago.
Wow, it's fantastic.
We still do shows. So, but after that show, we were on for like an hour and a half, taking requests from people. They were trying to, they all of a sudden said, "Stump the Beetle Brothers," like, and people were calling, "Do you know Anna? Do you know Chains?" And we would do a little bit of all these songs. So we kept looking at each other. And I didn't have to worry about.
So they were just trying to find some obscure music from the Beatles that you probably didn't know.
Didn't know, yeah.
But yet you did.
Yeah, we did. We knew them all. They were coming up with great requests. And Johnny said, "Keep it pre-Sgt. Pepper, because it's just two of us with an acoustic guitar." So you know, nothing over 66. So you know, we knew all that stuff. You know, and Phil was the one that was wondering. He knew the stuff too. So we were just like, "Hey, play it," and it went great. And it was Buzz Killman, who was Jonathan Brandmeier's sidekick.
Sure.
He said, "You guys ought to form a band." So Johnny goes, "Hey, will you warm up my Leisure Suits band at the Rialto Square Theater in Joliet?" And we're like, "Oh yeah." So we warmed him up, and then all of a sudden all these clubs started calling us, and we became an act. We do regular stops.
Now, did you guys have a full band when you were doing that, or was it just the two of you?
No, it was just the two of us. It was great. We did the two of us for about 4 to 5 years.
So did you use backing tracks or?
No, just acoustic.
Just
acoustic duo. Yeah,
Oh,
I would have
acoustic,
the tambourine, and Phil would play the
guitar.
acoustic
Acoustic duo. Okay.
Acoustic duo. It was great. It was great. It still is magical when we get together and play. We don't play as often because we both have all these other bands that we're in, but you know, it's pretty magical when we get together.
Well, that's pretty interesting how that all evolved off of a phone call that you made to have him come into your basement. That's pretty incredible.
It was the phone call that changed my life,
sure.
and I didn't move to LA after that because I was like, why am I going somewhere to find something musically now?
I mean,
we were
how close were you to moving out of state?
Real close. Yeah.
Before that happened.
Yeah.
So had that not happened, you're gone.
I would have moved to LA and.
So your path would have been completely different. It would have
yeah. I'm sure it would have been.
It's pretty incredible how one set of circumstances can drive your path.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, that was I was on the radio, and everybody, our first show that we did at the club, we walked on the stage and we got a standing ovation because the people knew us from the radio show, who were all there. And we didn't play one song.
Now, was this the first time that you warmed up for the Leisure Suits?
Well, yeah, this was...
Or is this something?
It was, we played a club before we warmed up the Leisure Suits because that was 2 weeks away.
Oh, so this was a club that you, okay.
A club called us and we booked it, like, "Hey, what do you do next Friday?" And we were like, "Okay."
Were you guys ever there before?
No.
Okay.
We were never there, but we had another appearance on the radio show because they had us back.
I see.
And we did something, and we plugged the gig. We're going to be here at Riverdale. We're going to on the South Side, Somewhere Else Lounge it was called, you know. So all of a sudden we walk on stage, we're getting a standing ovation. It was the most incredible, and we didn't even sing a song yet. And then, wow, I was thinking, why would I want to move now? This is the musical break that I was looking for, you know. And we stayed here, and I mean, the Beetle Brothers played all over the place. We later, 4 years later, formed the whole band.
1990?
Yeah, in the 90s, and I was in New Colony 6 for a while. I subbed for Ronnie Rice when he left the band when they were touring. So I did a little bit of the Beetle Brothers, and I did New Colony 6. And we were playing everywhere from Taste of Chicago to all the different festivals. I mean, we ended up playing in Cleveland for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions, you know, the opening parties for when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opened in Cleveland in 1995.
Wow.
And that was special because Bruce Springsteen came 3 times to see us.